If I wanted to use AI to create a custom financial dashboard for my business, this is how I'd get started. Step one is going to be opening up a new terminal. I'm going to make a new directory and I'm going to run Claude Code in that folder. So make the directory and open it up. Now open the terminal and set up a new instance of Claude. Now you could start from scratch, or you could find an open source project and start with that template. I've actually got my own open source template, which I know is perfect for this. So I'm going to copy this GitHub URL and paste it into Claude Code and ask it to set it up. Once it's installed, Claude might have additional instructions for you, or you can simply ask how to run this. So we can copy these instructions, open up a new terminal, paste those instructions, we'll get a URL that's back, and there it is. We can take that and bring it into our browser to see it in the browser. Here we go. We'll need to come into Claude and create an API key in order to enable the AI. Never share your API key with anyone. I'm going to delete this right after the video. Come back here and we can paste it into Claude and have this working now. So right now we've got our basic template set up. This project enables anyone to drag and drop a CSV file into this area and then have a chat interface. This is quite similar to your ChatGPT or regular Claude chat interface, but we're going to start customizing it. The first step is to be connecting your data. Now, you might have your data available in spreadsheets, or you might have it hooked up in other software. If that's the case, I would go back to Claude Code and talk through how to integrate and connect my software to automatically pull that data in. In this case, we're going to use this Excel spreadsheet from Kaggle. But before we actually work with the data, we want to utilize skills, which are specialist integrations into your code base. So we can come to this skills finder here and we can actually find the skills that we want. In the past, I've used skills like senior data scientist, and I think that skill could actually apply here. And then I've just found this CFO Advisor skill. So we'll integrate both of these and we can always add different ones that we find. We can also make our own skills. If we've got the specialty knowledge ourselves, we can have a discussion with Claude on creating a custom skill based on our requirements. But because I want to hit the ground running, we're going to use these two skills. So I'm going to grab these installation codes and paste them back into Claude. So we're back in Claude Code and we've pasted these two skills in here and have asked for it to be integrated. It might actually already pick up that we're using the senior data scientist, but we'll let it run and see what it says. Okay, so we can see here that it's installed both skills and it's now asking us if it should read the skill a bit more thoroughly and see how to best integrate it into the Data Lab app UI. So if we come back to the UI, we've got the chat and we've got the report, and this is where I've had the skills hooked up in the past, but now we're managing two skills. So we'll probably want to combine both skills into this report area, and we can just tell it that. So we can agree with Claude and move on and make sure that these two skills are integrated correctly. We're not giving it anything super technical in this case. We're just using plain English to kind of describe how we think this is actually going to be used. And after just a few minutes, we can see that it's actually completed all of this. It's made it into a 3-pass run where it starts with the data scientist, moves to the CFO advisor, and then synthesizes that all together. It also confirms that chat is automatically linked to this report that's generated. So let's give it a run and see how it goes. So coming back to the UI, we've already got the API key loaded and we should be ready to go. I'm going to give it a quick refresh just to make sure it's the most recent code. I'm going to then grab my CSV data and drop it in there. And we can see that it's correctly picked up 6,700 rows of data from the spreadsheet. I'm going to come into the report and run the analysis first. It seems to be working and it's going to go through this. It's a few minutes later and we can see that the analysis report has been successfully completed. If we look down here as well at the very bottom, this report cost 36 cents to generate. And by itself, it actually looks to have some pretty detailed recommendations backed up by real numbers. But this is of course just the first run. We've essentially got this up and running in 10 minutes, so it might not have everything you need. But this is where, if you're working with Claude Code, you can supercharge this. What I'm going to do is copy this analysis report, and then I'm going to come back to Claude Code, clear the session. I'm going to paste the analysis back into Claude and ask it to use this data to come up with a third window that's called dashboard, and we're going to use the report to create a specific financial dashboard based on our data and report. So I've pasted the data, I've pasted the column name headers, and then I've simply asked it to generate the dashboard window based on this data. We'll hit run. Now that it's done, we can actually go back to the UI and we can see here it's correctly made the dashboard window. We can click into it and here it is. So this is a pretty data heavy page, so it looks like it's going to take a second to load. But ultimately, we can see that it has started to visualize the data from the report. These are the graphs that it came up with, but depending on what data you're looking for, what insights you're trying to get answered, you can easily go back into Claude and edit these to get your specific answers if these aren't helpful. And that's why I'm excited about Claude Code. You don't need to be a software developer. You don't need to hire a software developer. Get proficiency in this tool and you can customize micro tools for your business in no time at all and writing 0 lines of code in the process. Stop using Claude like a search engine and start using it as your AI software development partner.